Ring ring.
Hello?
Good morning. Can I speak to Chris Sharp, please?
Speaking.
Hey, Chris. This is Carl Bishop with AE Realty and Zillow. Giving you a quick call. I noticed you were registered through our Zillow page, looking at a piece of land out here in Pipe Creek by Medina Lake. Looks like last night you were looking at that. Does that ring a bell, Chris?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good, good. Are you looking to pick up a piece of land out there?
Yeah, I'm kind of, searching around, thinking about moving out to the country, possibly building a house,
Yeah, it's beautiful out there, man. Handful of my agents actually live out there by Medina Lake, so they love it. We go out there as often as we can, and so I think you'll be very happy out there. What's your current situation, Chris? Are you renting right now? Do you live out there currently?
I'm actually renting. I'm getting ready to retire, so, it's kind of one of those things where it's time to, get out of the city, kind of my own area, maybe have some chickens,
Yeah.
a couple of goats,
I would love that, man. That sounds like a good retirement to me, and congratulations on getting to that point.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. So you're renting right now. Chris, have you ever owned a home in the past? Would this be your first time?
It'd be my first time. I traveled a lot for work, so I didn't really, have time to get into ownership.
Understood. And so you're looking at some land. How many acres are you looking to pick up? I mean, what's your minimum acreage amount that you want?
Minimum probably about 30.
30 acres, okay. Is that mostly going to be for the livestock and the things you mentioned earlier, or would you like to do anything else with the land?
Oh, it's pretty much livestock, riding dirt bikes and, stuff like that, horses.
They're closer to the city. It can be pretty pricey to get 30 acres because it seems like when you're within maybe 15 to 30 minutes of San Antonio, you're spending at a minimum 10 grand an acre. So just a piece of land alone could run you upwards of $300,000.
Oh, wow, okay.
Are you willing to go a little further out, or is that kind of the price range you're looking to be in?
Oh, no, I'm willing to go further out, It's
Okay.
kind of more bang for my buck. It would be better for me.
Yeah, the further out you go, like if you can get to where maybe an hour to an hour and a half away from San Antonio, you kind of get out there in the country, you can see the acreage go down for as little as like 1,000 or 1,500 an acre, which 30 acres would be closer to 30 to 40,000 rather than 300,000.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so the great thing about land out there is a wonderful program called the USDA Loan Program, which is actually designed for people looking to pick up land and do what you're doing in terms of livestock. Have you ever spoken to anybody about the financing aspect of this endeavor?
No, I really have not. It'd be my first time. I'm kind of just starting to dip my toe into the water.
Okay, well, I'm glad I'm getting a hold of you then today because we can definitely help shine some light on the best way to accomplish this wonderful goal. Well, what do you do for a living, Chris, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm actually an aircraft mechanic. I'm about to, I got about another 6 months left and I'm done.
Great. Fantastic.
About 35 years in the business, so.
That's wonderful. It would be ideal to help you get into this property prior to retirement. That way you still have the same amount of income coming in terms of qualifying. Have you just saved up a down payment, or did you have any funds to invest personally into this project?
I've got about $100K stashed away in the bank.
Wonderful. That is going to give you some great options, having that kind of down payment set aside. What about your finance? Have you ever looked into credit scores, or do you know where you're at in terms of your financial situation right now?
I mean, as far as credit goes, last time I checked, I was hovering right around 7.
Okay, good. Very good. So it sounds like income won't be a problem. It sounds like down payment's right where it needs to be, and it also sounds like your credit scores are doing great. So kudos to you for taking care of that. Have you ever talked to a bank about a mortgage? You've never talked to a bank or anybody in terms of a mortgage or how to acquire one?
Not really, no, sir.
Okay, great. Well, we have an in-house mortgage team here, and they can certainly help you with that. They're one of the more competitive companies. When it comes to land specifically, if you end up wanting to purchase just the land, then it will end up being something that would have to go to maybe a local bank or credit union for. We've worked with a couple of them as well. If you want to get financing, or with 100K, there's probably plenty of properties you could just buy cash and then only finance the construction side of it. So I'm curious, where did this goal and ambition for land and building come from? I mean, do you know somebody that's done it?
Oh, the wife's always been pushing me. I was aircraft mechanic, so I've been in the Middle East and, Germany and stuff like that for months at a time. So she's like, her goal was, once we get enough together, kind of find some land and just kind of retire into the woods, kind of.
Okay, great. Well, what a beautiful goal. So I'm going to send you some properties that would make sense. Ideally, Mr. Sharp will probably want to get you something with the house already on it. The financing options open up tremendously when you have an actual dwelling on the property. And so if it's just land that you're picking up, we're pretty limited in terms of financing. You may just want to consider using the cash that you have on hand to acquire the land if that's the route you want to go. Have you spoken to any builders? Have you spoken to anybody that could help you actually accomplish the goal that you have for yourself?
Not necessarily. This is actually the first time I've actually been on it. I heard you say something about USDA. Is that like a grant program or?
You know, you hear USDA, you think of steaks and vegetables and things like that, but actually they have a wonderful loan program for purchasing real estate. The only trick is it has to be outside the city limits, and so the Department of USDA has a certain amount of money allocated every year to help people pick up properties in rural areas. So that's a great program for anybody looking to get out of the city. So it sounds like there's quite a bit to share with you, Mr. Sharp, and I'm glad that I'm getting a hold of you today. I would like to invite you to my office for a free consultation. Basically, we spend about 30 to 45 minutes together, and I help you put together a plan. I have a computer here, we've got a great printer and a great internet connection, so we can definitely figure out what properties would be a good fit for you, and then you'll leave this office with a clear plan on how to accomplish that goal. Now, that could be a 6-month plan, it could be a 2-year plan. It doesn't really matter to us. We just want to get the right information in your hands. What would you mentioned a wife? What's her name?
Her name's Clarissa.
Clarissa. What day this week would be good for you and Clarissa to come out and meet with us? My office is located over here on Days of Allah and I-10. Are you familiar with the area?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What day this week are you both off?
Are you guys open on the weekends?
We certainly are. I've got my Saturday calendar open here now. If we were going to get together on a Saturday, would morning or afternoon be better for you?
Preferably morning. I like to take care of my stuff in the morning so I can relax in the afternoons.
Okay, so I have an opening here at 11 a.m. or I've got an opening at 9 a.m. What time is better for you, Mr. Sharp?
I'll take the 9 a.m.
Okay, great. All right, so I've got you my calendar. I'm going to email you. I've got chrissharp@gmail.com. Is that still a good email for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to send you a little calendar invitation. I'm also going to text you my address. And we'll see you in the morning this coming Saturday. And if you have any questions in the meantime, Chris, give me a call. I'm also going to be sending you some properties to take a look at based on the information you share.
Is there any paperwork I need to bring or paycheck stubs or anything?
Not at
awesome.
all.
Okay, so it's just a
bring
straight.
yourself. Yeah, we do have some lending options here if you do want to take a look at that. But they can always get information from you later at a later date. So this is just the initial meeting. We're going to help you do some planning and get you guys on the right path, taking the right steps forward. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll see you on Saturday.
All right. Appreciate it.
Take care, Chris.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye. All right. So that was good because I think a lot of people looking at land specifically, they have these great dreams of rolling acres and beautiful houses on it. And so for a guy like that's got $100K in the bank and has worked his entire life and is about to go into retirement, that could be a realistic thing. He's a person that could realistically be a good candidate for a person that's going to build a custom house on a big piece of land. Obviously there's a lot that needs to be discussed with him in that initial consultation. Buying land like that can be incredibly expensive for most people. And then the construction side of that project can be incredibly expensive too. So we didn't get into that too much in the initial conversation. And we've got some amazing builders that we're partnered with and that do great things. But it's expensive. It's really expensive. And for the average person buying their first home, it's typically not a good decision. Now, Chris, in this conversation was a little different. You typically don't see people that have worked that long and saved up that kind of money and have those kind of credit scores that have never invested in their first piece of real estate. It's very rare. But so that's why this is such an important time for us to get here in the office, get sat down, and really go over the basic steps to get him into his first property. He's probably got a ton of questions, probably got a ton of fear and uncertainty, which is why he hasn't pulled the trigger up until this point. So maybe he has a family member or maybe he knows somebody that lost their money, or he said he traveled a lot, so maybe has these fears of not being committed to a property, not being tied down. I've heard a lot. So this guy needs a ton of educating And so we'd cover a lot of ground in that first consultation. I'd probably book that meeting for a little bit longer than 30 minutes initially, maybe 45 minutes or even an hour, because there'd be so much ground to cover. But all right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for joining us today. Bye.